Hey guys, Asian here again with another dungeon guide. This one is Volenfell. This is the first boss. I did not hit record when we first started this dungeon, so to get to this first boss you just need to fight a couple of trash mobs. Nothing too hard, nothing too serious. This boss is pretty basic, comes with a couple of ads you can burn down. His main attack mechanic there is that he will fear everybody. You can use break free to get out of that fear attack, so keep your stamina up. The fear doesn't last that long, but it can get annoying to deal with. Just like last time, we'll skip past the trash mobs, and once I explain the boss mechanics, we'll skip the remainder of the boss fight. One thing to note for this dungeon, if your tank is a Dragonknight, they should equip Fiery Chains, Unrelenting Grip, for the expedition bonus. You will see why that is going to be important. This is the second boss. You have to burn down some of these trash ads first to get him to spawn. Once he spawns, he comes in 3 phases. This is the first phase. He's a two-hander. Nothing too serious. He has a spinny AoE attack on him. Just avoid that. Tank can stay within it. Once he hits about 66%, he will go over to the chest, swap over to be a caster, and he gains 2 mechanics. First one is he'll launch a heavy attack that creates a very large fire circle, and then he'll summon a dragon which fears the tank, and you cannot use break free to get out of that fear. Once he hits about 15%, he will go ahead and summon a gargoyle, and he will disappear. Gargoyle has full health, so you'll need to fight all of burn it completely down. It has about 1.8 million health. He has 2 attacks. First one you just saw there, he will target a random player with a frontal petrify cone. Second one is a ground pound, just stay out of that. The tank can block through it, but it's easier just to completely avoid the attack. The tank, if they are not a Dragonknight and they don't have chains, you can use rapids from the PvP assault line. To get that, you just got to go to Cyrodiil, complete the tutorial, and you'll automatically get that skill. Otherwise, Unrelenting Grip is probably the better skill because it also does damage. This is the next boss, comes with a couple of Assassin Beetle ads. He teleports to a random player, nothing the tank can do about that. He also has a very large growing AoE circle. It might be hard to see here with the Destruction ultimate, but that circle will grow, and he does I think 3 or 4 hits that increase in power. You're going to want to stay out of that circle unless you're the tank. The tank can actually stay in that circle and either block through it or just tank the damage. It is not that bad to tank. Going through some of the trash mobs here. In this room, once you flip the lever, everybody needs to sprint through this hallway here. Healer will have to heal through the damage you will take from the steam. You just have to run all the way down to the end to get to the boss. Once you get down here, you don't need to worry about the steam damage anymore. This guy fights pretty much like your normal Dwarven Sphere. He has one special attack where he will launch a firebolt at a random person. That person will have a red AoE circle. Bolt will explode, damaging anybody in that circle. Doesn't do that much damage. You can pretty much tank the damage, healer can heal through it. Once you kill the boss, you can flip the switch there and it'll shut off this damaging steam in the tunnel. This is the next boss. This is Tremorscale. 2 main attacks here to worry about. The first one is a large frontal AoE tail swipe right there. Tank can either avoid it or it's just easier to block it. Second attack is that he will dig to a random person. You can block the dig attack, doesn't do that much damage if you block it. When he does that animation, you know he's digging. Block, hold your block, and he will pop up on the random person. Red AoE circle for some minor damage. There are a lot of urns to go ahead and loot in this dungeon, so go ahead and take your time. This is the final boss, but Say and Mr. Say lost their connection at this point, so we are just, Reaper and I are just talking around, waiting for them to get their internet connection back. So for this boss, you have fighting 3 Centurions. Each of them have a different mechanic. The red one, which is the one on the left, has a whirlwind attack. It will randomly follow one random player. The one in the center is the blue one. He will stay relatively close to the center pedestal and rain down electric balls. The yellow one is tauntable. He will follow the tank or whoever he is targeting. He has a very, very damaging frontal AoE cleave attack that is essentially a one-shot. You see here I use chains to get the movement speed boost. The tank will drag the yellow one, taunt it, bring it back to this back bar here. You'll see I did not actually manage to run away and avoid the cleave attack. It is a one-shot kill, even to the tank.
And the blue dots are following me at the moment.
And you will see that the yellow one, so the interesting mechanic about this boss is that they all share a health pool. So the yellow one will equalize everybody's health with that beam there. Once he does that, he will stand still, but the other 2 Centurions will continue to do their attacks.
Blue and red on. This is not cool.
If the tank does get down, it is possible to res him,
What's going on?
though it is very difficult to do so. Once 2 people are down, it's pretty much a group wipe. The strategy here is for the DPS to burn the blue Centurion down first, and from there you can hit the red one or the yellow one. Most people tend to go for the yellow one, and then finish them off with the red one. Because they all share health, once you get the blue one down and kill the blue one, the red and the yellow Centurions should have relatively low health. Should be pretty quick to burn them down. The healer shouldn't need to stick close to the tank. The tank should, being the keyword here, be able to avoid all of the yellow Centurions' hits. So the healer can pretty much stay by the DPS, keep them alive. This was a wipe, so we took the wipe. If you do happen to wipe back here, you will not be able to sprint back to the beginning and pull without pulling aggro. So if you happen to wipe back there, jump over to the rocks on the right and work your way back around this way. If you do happen to wipe, the Centurions will not be in their charging stations. They will be standing right there. If you do wipe, the tank can actually sneak behind the red Centurion, go around, hop on the rock, and stand by the yellow Centurion and pull him, taunt him. The range taunt is highly, highly recommended if you have it. That's Inner Rage, Inner Fire on the Undaunted skill tree. Because you do not want to get close to this boss, because that will open you up to the cleave attack. If you only have the one-handed skill line, use chains or some other ranged attack to get his attention and taunt him when he is equalizing the health. So this is how you should do it if you are a tank. You'll see that I'm using chains here rather than rapids. Chains will give you that movement boost and damage him while he's equalizing health. If you only have the one-hand shield taunt, that's the perfect time to use it. While he's equalizing, you can also try to do some damage. Probably won't add too much, but every little bit helps. So the idea is to cast chains, keep your major expedition buff on, and just run essentially in a giant circle between those 4 pillars there. And now we're just going to go ahead and skip the remainder of this fight. Tank's job is pretty boring, but if you don't do it right, then it's pretty much going to be a group wipe. Once you kill all the bosses, if you're doing the quest, loot the containers all the way back there. Whoever has the quest will need to use that eye. That will update the quest. You'll need to stay in the room until the quest updates. A bunch of skeletons will appear. You will need to sprint down to the end of the room there, make the right, go through the door. The skeletons will not despawn, they'll just continue to be summoned until you die. And that's it for Volenfell. Thanks for watching, hope this guides help, and I'll see you at the next dungeon.